Welcome to another tech episode from ThingsTechs. Today, we're diving into a significant security update for Android users that you really need to know about.
Yeah, we looked at some articles on this. Google's rolling out something new for Android phones and tablets.
That's right. It's a feature that could, well, fundamentally change how your device safeguards your data.
In essence, Google is implementing a new security protocol.
Hmm.
Basically, your device will automatically reboot if it stays locked for 3 days straight.
3 days. Okay. So our goal today is to understand, why this update, what does it mean for security, and sort of the bigger picture here. And to get that, we need to talk about these security states before first unlock and after first unlock. Let's dig in.
Sounds good.
So this auto reboot feature, it seems simple on the surface, just a restart, but there's more going on under the hood, isn't there?
Absolutely. Yes, the device reboots after 72 hours locked and inactive, but the key thing is the state it returns to. That reboot forces the device into what's called the before first unlock state, BFU for short.
BFU. Got it. So what's the big deal about this BFU state? What makes it so secure?
Well, think of BFU as the highest security level. It's the state right after you power on or reboot before you enter your PIN or password for that very first time.
Okay, like when you first turn it on from being completely off.
Exactly. In BFU, all your user data is fully encrypted. It's basically unreadable. And crucially, things like fingerprint or face unlock, they won't work yet. You have to use your passcode.
Ah, okay. So that initial unlock is different. Why is BFU so much stronger than, say, my phone just being locked after I've used it?
It really comes down to the encryption keys, the keys needed to decrypt your data.
Right.
In BFU, those critical keys aren't loaded into the phone's active memory. They're kept securely locked away.
Which makes it harder to grab them.
Much harder. Even for sophisticated forensic tools. Some research suggests maybe only 5% of user data might be accessible in BFU compared to potentially 95% in the other state we'll talk about.
Wow, 5% versus 95%. That's a huge difference.
It really is. So this auto reboot pushes the phone back into that super secure BFU vault if it's been inactive.
And, it's worth mentioning, users can do this manually too, right? Just by restarting.
Precisely. If you're ever concerned, just reboot your phone. That puts it straight into BFU for maximum protection until you unlock it.
Good tip. Okay, so BFU is the goal state for security. What about the other one you mentioned? After first unlock, or AFU. That sounds like the default state.
Yeah, AFU is basically the normal state after you've powered on and unlocked your device at least once with your PIN or password. Even when you lock the screen again later, it's usually an AFU.
And this is where biometrics like fingerprints work easily.
Exactly. For convenience, certain decryption keys do remain loaded in the device's memory in the AFU state. That lets you quickly unlock with your fingerprint or face.
Okay, convenience, I get that. But what's the security trade-off? Why is AFU more vulnerable?
Because those keys are sitting in memory. While it makes unlocking faster, it also creates an opportunity. Forensic tools, the kind used maybe by law enforcement or security firms, can sometimes target this AFU state.
How would they do that?
Well, there are techniques. Sometimes they try to extract the contents of the phone's memory while it's locked but still in AFU. There's even been reports about booting devices into special modes, like fast food, to try and dump that memory.
I see. So the keys might be exposed there.
Potentially, yes. So this new auto reboot feature from Google, it's a direct countermeasure. It limits how long a device can sit idle in that potentially more vulnerable AFU state.
Okay, that makes sense. It forces it back to the safer BFU state. Let's talk about the timer. 72 hours? 3 days? Is that arbitrary, or is there a reason for that number?
It's interesting, actually. It seems to be becoming a bit of an industry standard, or at least a recognized practice. Apple's iOS has a similar feature, also often cited around that 72-hour mark for inactivity reboots.
So Apple does this too. Seems like it. It suggests this time frame is seen as a reasonable balance, balancing strong security against annoying the user with unnecessary reboots.
Right. If you haven't touched your phone in 3 days, maybe something's up. It could be lost or confiscated or just forgotten somewhere.
Exactly. The thinking is, after 3 days locked, prioritizing security by rebooting to BFU makes sense.
So just to be clear, if I use my phone normally, unlock it once a day or even every other day, this won't happen.
Correct. The 72-hour clock resets every time you successfully unlock the device. This is really for prolonged periods of inactivity while locked.
And does this apply to everything running Android, like my watch or my Android TV?
Good question. Based on the reports, no. This specific 72-hour auto reboot seems targeted specifically at Android phones and tablets right now.
Okay.
Devices like Android Auto, Wear OS watches, Android TV, play games on PC, they appear to be exempt from this particular feature, probably because their usage patterns and security needs are different. That makes sense. Can users change this timer? Like, set it to 24 hours or turn it off? I know some custom Android versions allow that.
Yeah, things like Graphene OS offer customization. But for Google's official implementation, push-through Play services, it looks like the 72-hour timer is fixed. No user setting to change it currently.
And you mentioned Play services. That's important, right? It means this isn't tied to a big Android version update.
Exactly. That's a key deployment detail. By using Google Play services, specifically version 25.14 seems to be where it's appearing. Google can get this security feature onto a massive number of devices relatively quickly.
Right, without waiting for phone manufacturers or carriers to push a full OS update, which can take ages or never happen for some older devices.
Precisely. It ensures broader, faster protection.
Okay, so let's pull this together. For listeners, what are the main takeaways here? What does this mean for the average Android user?
Well, I think the big picture is enhanced baseline security. This auto reboot strengthens the protection for your personal data, especially if your phone or tablet falls out of your possession.
Like if it's lost or stolen.
Exactly. By forcing it back to that super secure BFU state after 3 days, Google is closing a window of vulnerability associated with the AFU state. It makes forensic data extraction harder.
It definitely sounds like a win for security. Maybe a tiny bit less convenient. If you happen to leave your phone in a drawer for 4 days, you'll just need your PM instead of your fingerprint first time back.
Right. It's that classic tech balancing act, security versus convenience. In this case, Google seems to be leaning a bit more towards security for inactive devices.
What really stands out to you about this move?
For me, it's the proactive, system-level nature of it. Instead of just relying on the user to remember to reboot for better security, the system itself steps in after prolonged inactivity. It's like an automated safety net.
Yeah, a built-in safeguard. It reduces the burden on the user to be constantly thinking about security states.
And it acknowledges that the AFU state, while convenient, does carry some inherent risks that needed addressing.
So for anyone listening who wants to go deeper, maybe look into mobile forensics and how encryption, especially BFU, works against it.
Absolutely. Understanding those techniques really highlights why features like this matter. This whole deep dive just shows, the constant cat and mouse game happening to keep our digital information safe. It's an ongoing effort.